Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode. We're here at Sophist Productions. We're live, and it's a beautiful day in Pakistan. It's a beautiful night, and in approximately an hour, Putin and Trump are meeting in Alaska in the Putin-Trump summit, and what is going to happen is they're going to discuss about peace negotiations, which is going to be a win-win situation for the world if there is peace between Russia and Ukraine, because it has unstabilized the whole region and you could say destabilized the whole region, and it's like a 3.5 year war, and it's still going on with no end at stop. But what will Ukraine lose in this conflict? What will Russia lose if it goes for a ceasefire? What does Trump want? There's a lot of players, and obviously Europe is also involved because Europe is bordering Russia, and Europe is at the most threat from Putin. So there's different parties that have different interests, and in today's meeting, we hope, which is probably going to start in an hour, maybe if we could get some information out of what is going on, we'll also discuss it on the live stream. But without further ado, let me introduce to you our guest today, Anila Shehzad, who is a regular at our channel. She is a geopolitical analyst and a writer of amazing books. Her last book was Geopolitics, Frameworks and Dynamics in a Multipolar World. And we'll make sure that we attach the link to the book so you guys can, if you want to buy, you can. And what is your go on what is going to happen today in the Trump-Putin summit, which is going to happen in Alaska? And how's your day going?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And thank you for having me, Wali, again on your show. And the first thing I wanted to say to everyone in Pakistan that it was our Independence Day yesterday, 14 August. And सबको आज़ादी मुबारक हो, और दुआ है अल्लाह ताला से कि हमारे मुल्क को तरक्की दिन दुगनी और रात चुगनी तरक्की हासिल होती रहे, और अमन और भाईचारे का और डेमोक्रेसी का जो हम एक ख्वाब देखा हुआ है कि वो हमारी आवाम को मिले और इस मुल्क में राइज हो। और इसके साथ ही आज 15 अगस्त है, और इस दिन इंडिया को आज़ादी मिली थी, तो इंडियन बहन भाइयों को भी हम मुबारक देना चाहते हैं कि उनको भी उनकी आज़ादी मुबारक हो, और होपफुली कि हम दो मुल्क जो हैं और दो लोग जो हैं वो अमन और शांति के साथ इस खित्ते में मतलब आबाद रहें और फलें फूलें। और नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द रियल इशू विच इज़ एट हैंड is Trump and Putin meeting at long last in Alaska, and they are going to talk about the ceasefire. And Trump is like showing a lot of anxiety and anger that this meeting should be, come out to be fruitful. And he says that Putin should agree on a ceasefire, and for Putin to come all the way to Alaska, which is again a US territory. So that's a big thing. I was thinking in the morning that what if the ICC, the International Criminal Court, has put a warrant against Putin also, and any other country where he is found, which is bounded with ICC like the US is, then they are bound to get him arrested and hand him over to the Interpol. So it's really it was risky, and I'm sure they must have managed the whole thing, and I'm sure there won't be any threats like that. But Alaska is a far off place and a not very inhabited place, and they could have had the meeting anywhere in Europe also. But let's see, we're hoping for the best. We hope that a ceasefire deal and a long-lasting full-fledged ceasefire comes out of this meeting?
Well, the placement of the meeting is like important as well. Because Alaska, is it so far away? I think Alaska borders Russia, and even Putin said that he could just cross the Bering Strait and go towards Alaska and have a meeting with the President of United States of America, which is a big deal because Trump has been enforcing tariffs on India, who has been buying Russian oil, billions of dollars of Russian oil every month, and they've been making huge profits. And Trump just announced that he was going to put more tariffs if the meeting with Putin did not go as planned. So, and an important part as well, that Alaska was part of Russia back in the days, and they sold the whole of Alaska for $7.6 million, which is, I don't know, accounted for inflation, like $200-300 million in today's value. And that was considered one of the biggest financial mistakes of the century, because after giving the whole of Alaska, which is a very big part of America, as much as, I don't know, the whole of America and Alaska might be similar in size,
No.
but
Not that big, but it is.
but it
really
is very
huge.
big, yeah. Most of Alaska is covered in ice, but what happened was that they found oil in Alaska, and that oil is worth billions and billions of dollars. And some of that oil, they do get it out from the ground and refine. And that we were working on a video earlier, and it is considered one of the biggest financial blunders of all time, because they just sold Alaska for a few pennies when it is worth billions and billions, even trillions of dollars, because of its natural resources that Russia didn't know about. So, and also I forgot before I started the stream, it was 14th August yesterday, and happy Independence Day, belated happy Independence Day to all our viewers. बहुत जो है ज़ोरों शोर से कल लाहौर में पूरे हल्ला गुल्ला मचा हुआ था, लोग निकले हुए थे सड़कों पे और बहुत रश लगा हुआ था और लोगों ने खूब इंजॉय किया 14 अगस्त के सारी सेलिब्रेशंस को. And this is like the 78th year that Pakistan is now in, and it's like a big deal. Everyone was very happy, and there was a lot of excitement. And today is 15th August, unfortunately, the day when India got independent. So, yeah, we're going to talk about India as well. What is the implications of this Trump-Putin summit on India, which is very important, because I guess Mr. Narendra Modi is right now dreaming, or he is contemplating a truce between Putin and Trump, so there's no more sanctions and there's no more tariff threats for India, because Trump is going to increase the tariffs even more if this deal doesn't go through. So there's like a few people watching us right now, and we'll go to the comments, but let's start with what's happening. So what's the Trump-Putin summit, and what does it mean for Pakistan? And according to Washington, the pivot to Pakistan, Washington is now pivoting towards Pakistan, and after years of strained relationships, Trump's second term has brought Islamabad back into the White House. Trump hosted Pakistan Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir. Recently, a few days ago, he was in United States of America, and he was also there in June. And Trump also cut Pakistan's tariffs to 19%, while slapping a 50% tariff on Indian goods. And if you're a regular on our channel, you might know about this news, because recently we did, like, the last two of our episodes were on Indian tariffs and Indian economy, and on Mr. Modi the Great. And Pakistan is seeing an arch rivalry in India, and the receiving end of and it's on the receiving end of United States of America. And Pakistan is hoping like a reset in our relationships with the United States. While Pakistan has a fragile economy, America is promising economic help, and it's promising more trade ties with Pakistan. Although we know that Trump is a little bit transactional, he is not helping Pakistan because he loves the Pakistani people or the Pakistani regime. Rather, he's seeing all these rare earth minerals that can come out of Pakistan, and the oil that was discovered in Kekra, which could be Asia's biggest oil reserve. It could make Pakistan the second biggest oil reserve all over the world. So that's like a big deal. And Pakistan's military-backed regime has often offered goodies to the US, and a trade deal with no tariff, access to rare earth minerals, and even cryptocurrency partnerships. So yeah, because we are making a lot of excess energy, it's also beneficial for Pakistan to put in these big mining setups and mine cryptocurrency, because that could actually reduce the cost of electricity in Pakistan, because we're making a lot of electricity and we can't use that much electricity. We're only using like 50% of it. That's why the electricity costs in Pakistan have skyrocketed. And in the recent days, there's been like a solar panel boom in Pakistan. The prices of the solar panels have crashed a lot in the past few years. Solar panels are cheap, and because so many households have now solar panels installed in their homes, so there's even less burden on the government and its energy suppliers like the WAPDA and Karachi Electric. And I mean, it's like a win-win situation. And who is this crypto partnership with? It's with Liberty Financial, which is owned by Trump's own sons, and they want a partnership with the Pakistan government to excel Pakistan in the cryptocurrency space, especially when Pakistanis have millions of crypto wallets. Compare that to Pakistanis investing in the stock market, that is like very less. I mean, there's like only a few 100,000 people who trade all over the year in Pakistan stock market, whereas the cryptocurrency exchanges and the cryptocurrency accounts in Pakistan are at an extra astronomical number. So Trump's administration reciprocated by suspending a threatened 29% tariff on Pakistan exports and promising to help Pakistan's oil reserves. So the skeptics inside Pakistan say that history has taught Pakistan to distrust the USA's commitments. And these commentators also warned that US interests could change on a dime, and that closer ties with Washington mistrains Pakistan's vital relationship with China. So what do you think about the future of Pakistan and the USA? How are the relationships going to go further, especially when we hear that Palki Sharma is daily coming on the news and she's saying that Pakistan has won the diplomacy war and they're lobbying and they're spending like 600,000 per month to lobby, and India is not spending as much. And
no, definitely India must be spending a lot, but circumstances have just turned the upside down for India, because we're not sure exactly what the reasons may be, but actually President Donald Trump has a very, volatile type of personality. People, commentators usually say that we have failed to understand Donald Trump. We have failed to judge what he's going to do. He is totally an unpredictable person, and he is actually a businessman, and he has this mental training of looking at everything in terms of dollars and business deals and all that thing. And from each and every country of the world that they do trade with, Donald Trump wants to change the equation from a deficit position to a profitable position. And if that was so easy, it's not a wish that you can just wish and it's going to come true. There are economic dynamics and so many things related to that. Definitely things are imported into the US because they are cheap in those other countries that are producing it. And that is a very basic, simple thing that Donald Trump had to understand. But he has this thing nobody can make him understand simple things like that. So in the case of India, who was actually a very deep strategic partner of the US had a pivot in India. They had pivoted their strategic depth inside the whole Indo-Pacific region or inside the whole Asia inside India. They were depending so much on India. Because they thought that China is their enemy now, and they have to stop the rise of China, stop the economic growth of China, and they were ready for getting into a very big global type of war with China. And if they were going to do that, they needed India as a base inside Asia that would help them in this war. And India had its own ambitions, because India thought that China's days may have been over, and now the whole industrial backyard should be shifted into India, and India should become the new China, and India should become the new regional power, surpassing even China, which was actually practically not possible. So let's see when we get into the details of the thing, how this deal, this Trump-Putin meeting is going to come on India, because this is really a funny thing, you can say, that Trump, before going to that meeting, has threatened India that if the deal doesn't go on well, then we are going to put more tariffs on India. So what's the equation over there? Just because India is buying Russian oil, that's the fault of India, or is there something more in it?
There was a meme going on that Putin is doing this war on Ukraine, and Putin is killing so many Ukrainians, and how does Trump punish Putin? By putting sanctions on Mr. Modi. So that meme was going on as well.
Yeah.
India got punched in the face while Russia was the offender. So firstly, we'll come to India, but let me just tell you a few things about what is going on with Pakistan and how this summit could mean, what the summit could mean for the global energy prices and Pakistan. So Pakistan could obviously benefit from the stability. US-Russia talk could, however, reduce Islamabad's value as a go-between, because right now in this time, Pakistan is this person who can defeat India, because we just proved it in a war as well. Even Donald Trump said a day or two ago that he admitted that Pakistan downed 6 of India's fighter jets. And if the war ends, maybe Trump doesn't see Pakistan as the partner that he's seeing us right now, because right now Trump wants the rare earth minerals to come from Pakistan, and Trump wants Pakistan to export a lot of oil to all the region, and undermine Russia and its strategic plans for the future. And Pakistan is playing like a critical role in all of this. So Pakistan hopes the summit reinforces Trump's reliance on, of course, Pakistan. Is that going to happen if if there is like a peaceful negotiation between Russia and Trump, or is that more likely to happen if the war continues to go on? Because apparently Pakistan is on the United States side in this war, and they've been helping Ukraine by giving them also military and other things to wage the war. And particularly, Washington seeks Pakistan's help in Middle East diplomacy and energy projects. And Islamabad is still worried about being left exposed if the US shifts priorities again. And obviously, it's going to be a short-term blow for Pakistan if this deal goes through. But what do you think? Is it good for us? Are we more important if the conflict goes on, or is it more likely that there's like a short-term thingy that Pakistan is no longer that important, and then after a while, when the war subsides, because also the energy prices will go down. That's like a global crisis that has been going on, and the prices of food has also gone up. If the war ends, do you think that the price of what we eat, the food, and the energy would go down?
Well, that's a difficult question, because food inflation is not on in any particular region, or there was food price inflation when the Ukraine war, Russia war started, but we have also seen that inflation has become a global thing all over, and there is not one reason for this inflation. It is a general thing that's going on. Every country is experiencing this inflation, and the reasons of this inflation go back to 2008, when the global economic recession of 2008 started, and since then, after a few years, we also got COVID, and 3-4 years of COVID. So the global economy has yet to stand back on its feet, and the recession and the slowdown in economies of all the countries is going on. Most countries are having a growth of 1 or 2%, or maybe negative. European countries are facing a negative growth, and yes, if the Ukraine-Russia war ends, it's going to be a win-win for many people, for everybody, in fact, for the whole humanity. The first thing that will come out of it will be that Europe is going to get a respite, because Europe was the one who stood behind the US in instigating this war. Because, since the Soviet Union broke in the 1991, I think it broke in that year, from that time, the Russians have been telling the NATO people that because just with the breakdown of the Soviet Union had to break the Warsaw Pact and the other security pacts that it had with all its satellite countries. But because the Warsaw Pact had broken down, Russia kept saying to NATO that, okay, we are now subsided, our power has subsided, but you guys should not try to come into the post-Soviet space. Like all the Eastern European countries, the belt of countries that was first in the Soviet Union, and now they have broken away and become independent. Still, the Russians considered that to be the post-Soviet space, and they had not only political, not only economic, but also religious affiliation with these people, because Russia deems itself to be the patron of the Orthodox Church, the protector of the Orthodox Church people, and all these Eastern European states were Orthodox Christian states. So, but what happened? NATO did not listen. They one by one they pulled all these countries into the NATO sphere. They entered them into the EU, and when they came, I think Belarus and Ukraine, and I think one more, maybe Moldova, one or two other countries are left which are not yet in the NATO sphere. And Putin kept on saying that don't enter Ukraine, don't push Ukraine to enter the EU or NATO, otherwise we'll come out for war, because that is too much. Because, Russia thought that all these post-Soviet space countries had pro-Russian governments installed in them. And one by one, by way of color revolutions and other regime change operations, the pro-European governments were installed in those countries, and now the same was being done in Ukraine. Ukraine had two revolutions. One was, I think, the Euromaidan, and another, I think, Orange Revolution or something. So they tried the same thing in Ukraine, and that was the limit when Russia decided that no more is going to happen. We will not allow Ukraine and Belarus to have regime change operations in them, and we will defend them, and we will keep them out of the NATO and EU sphere. But what happened? They installed a puppet Zelensky regime in Ukraine, and Zelensky immediately went for the EU option and the NATO option, and Zelensky asked the EU and NATO to put Ukraine in their camp, and Europe also. Many countries, Western European countries and Poland and all these, they promised Ukraine and the people of Ukraine that we are going to make you a model state. We are going to make you bring all the development and all the industries in your country, and we are going to really pump in funds into Ukraine. But what happened? The war started. And they did not give them any aid. They did not give them any industry or anything. All they gave them was weapons and more weapons and more weapons, so that Zelensky could keep on fighting with Russia, a war that Zelensky was never going to win. So it was a trap for the Ukrainian people, in which they have fallen. And now, if the peace comes between these two countries, Europe, who has spent the last 3 years giving billions of dollars of weapons to Ukraine, and they have had to spend so much more on their own defense budgets and to strengthen their own armies, because the cloud of war was like all over Europe. Anything could happen anytime. So Europe will get a respite. They will get, maybe after a year or so after this deal, they might start getting the cheap Russian gas and oil back, so that they can revive their industries, which are all going into a free fall right now. So yes, it's going to be respite for Europe. It's going to be respite for Ukraine itself. It's going to be a respite for Russia, and the region, the Asian region, is going to become, if it becomes a peaceful region, there is so much progress that is waiting. There is so many Belt and Road projects, and roads and railways and pipelines, gas pipelines, and so much that is already started, and it's waiting for this fog of war to disappear from our skies.
That's a great point. I mean, yes, there's a lot of things that could happen, and we all wish that this war, which has been going on for the past 3.5 years, it stops. But with the Europe's point, I guess Donald Trump has, or America, the United States of America, has given almost $350 billion to Ukraine for this war. And Donald Trump is really pissed about that, and he's saying that he's not going to give much more money to Ukraine, although they've been still supplying weapons to them. And the Europeans have actually given around like $100 billion towards this war. And now, when Trump stops giving Ukrainians the weapons, Europe is now buying, and NATO is now buying the weapons from United States of America. And then Europe is delivering those weapons towards the Ukrainian regime, the Zelensky regime. So Europe is also worried about its dominance, and they're also worried about their security. Maybe that's why they were supporting the Ukraine war, that maybe if Putin takes over Ukraine, then Poland is next. And if he takes over Poland, then they might take over another country. And we
That's the
also
thing.
have to remember that in World War II, the Russians have like this history of war, and Stalin was not known as the best person, but Stalin defeated the German army, and he was the only one who could do that because of the way Russian people are and how strong their military is and how long they have been surviving in this cold, harsh temperature, and all of the history. So says a lot about the Russian people. And maybe Europe still wants the war to continue, while Donald Trump is the one who's telling everyone to stop. Donald Trump is bragging that he has stopped like 6 wars in the past 6 months, and he wants to be nominated for a peace prize, Nobel Peace Prize. And that's what he was asking India to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Although Pakistan was good enough to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize, because Trump stopped the war as we were winning, and Trump made Modi stop the war as well. And Modi's pretty pissed about it, and that says why he's not offering him
because
the Nobel Peace Prize.
Modi was like is from the beginning this type of a person who is really a very egoistic person, and he wants to be seen and called as the best and the most successful and all that. It does not like any criticism against himself, and he was posing to be the winner. Actually, the BJP government was the one who started this war. They made the first attack. They made the surgical, what they call the missile attacks inside Pakistan, and that was, such a stupid thing for Modi to do, because by doing that, Modi is actually, they're saying that he has decreased the war threshold. Like, he has normalized this thing that whenever you think that there is something, your enemy sitting a terrorist sitting across the border in his house or anywhere, you can throw a missile to kill him. So if India can do that, then why can't Pakistan do that? So that is something, because the way he started.
What also happened recently is that there was another attack on Indian military like a day or two ago, and not a lot of Indian military people died, but a few of them died, and a few of them are in critical condition. We hope that.
Where was this attack?
I guess somewhere near the borderline between Kashmir, Azad Kashmir and Jammu Kashmir. And it wasn't such a big attack. And the last attack, which went so berserk that it turned into like a mini war, was an attack on civilians. And before that, in Pulwama, a few years back, it was the biggest attack on Indian military. Around like 50, 60 generals died. Not generals, army people died. And the point is that Kashmir has been like this turning point, or it's been the front line. And it's so easy for Modi to start a war anytime because he just can get like a little attack in Kashmir, and that could lead to a nuclear war. And that's what our General Assembly Field Marshal just said that. I don't want to
In the
repeat the
US.
words, but he said that we're a nuclear nation, and I don't think that if we're going to defeat, if we are being defeated in a military conflict, we're just going to sit there and not use our nuclear weapons.
He actually, it came from an Indian news outlet, the print, because there was no cameras allowed in that, ceremony that was going on in the US. But reportedly, he said that Pakistan can destroy the whole industrial base from east coast to west coast of India. And he said that if you are going to build dams over our water, we're going to just blow them off with our missiles. So that's after the Modi regime has taken the threshold so low that anybody can do anything. I mean, that's the new normal now.
And what does this Trump-Putin summit mean for India? That's a really important point. So the tariffs and the diplomatic pressure that is on India because of this Russia-Ukraine war and because of buying all this oil, billions of dollars of oil from Russia. And Trump recently imposed this 50% tariff on Indian imports. And it's going to start on the 27th of August, which is not like it's like already 15th. And Trump was like saying that he's going to put more tariffs on Mr. Modi if the US-Russian summit doesn't work out. And India has like continued purchasing Russian oil despite of Trump threatening them of these sanctions. And there's been like high-level delegations from India going to Russia to discuss all the situation, because that is also a point. If that is what Jay Shankar said, that Europe fulfills its energy needs from all of the places, and also America's buying fertilizers and uranium and all these chemicals from Russia. But when it comes to India, which is a third world nation and it's a developing nation, and there's so much poverty in India, and now you are saying that Europeans can get cheap oil, Americans can get cheap oil, but Indians, the poor people, they cannot get cheap oil. They have to like buy the expensive oil. Is that even fair? Because if India starts buying oil from the open market, it's going to add more pressure on the day-to-day Indian people and how they're living. And it's going to be really detrimental. That's, on the other hand, comparing it to Pakistan. Pakistan was trying to make a deal with Russia, and they were trying to secure their energy needs, but unfortunately we couldn't, and maybe it was for the better, I don't know, because getting cheap oil is one thing, and then getting like 50% tariffs, and then getting sanctions, and then being in the bad books of the Europeans and Americans is like a total disaster, which Modi is facing right now. So
it's not just. Are you continuing?
Yeah, you can add if you want.
I think Modi actually has angered Trump, angered him because of the reason that I think the US was getting this feel that Modi is playing a double game, and it is also trying to get closer to Russia and China. And maybe like in spite of all the strategic deals and everything that India had with the US, the US felt that if anything goes wrong between us, Modi and his government is not going to take a lot of time in reverting back to Russia and China, who are both all the time welcoming Modi in every summit, in every dialogues, and they are giving this message to India again and again that you need to come back into our sphere. In the BRICS, in the SPEEF, in the SCO, everywhere they actually want to cut India off from its strategic alliance with the US, and because if that remains, then any war that the US attempts or the NATO attempts against China will become a two front war for China, or a multi-front war with China, because India is going to jump into that war immediately too. But now the things are changing. India, after suffering defeat from Pakistan, has cancelled its weapon procurement that it had with the US. It's cancelled the F-35 deals, and maybe it's going to ask Russia to give it the fighter jets it needs, and the defense system, all the things that it needs. And maybe it thinks now that because of this Pakistan-India war in May, India has understood this thing, that we don't need isolated weapon systems like F-35 from the US, Rafales from the France, and drones from Israel, and all these weapons don't have any integration between them, and there is no satellite system that integrates them. And that is the edge that Pakistan had, because it had the drones from China, it had fighter jets from China, it had missiles from China, and it had the satellite coverage of the Baidu satellite system, which is also one of the best, the best actually satellite system right now of the whole world. And that whole thing, how can India have, when it is taking one thing from one place and the other from the other place? This is what India has now realized, and maybe it can fill this gap if it starts buying everything from Russia, which is going to be cheaper and which is going to be under one integrated system. Maybe this is happening, and this thing is what is annoying Trump, that they think that India might be playing a double game.
Yeah, but India, recently I watched a video on YouTube in which Indians were saying that all our systems have high level communication between them. That's why Pakistan lost the 2-day war with India, and all the S-400 systems and their missiles and the radars and all the jamming instruments are working together with each other.
What happened was that just a few days back, the Air Force Chief of India, he just came out on a press conference or something, and 3 months after the war, he said that Indian Air Force has put down 6 Pakistani fighter jets, and one of them was a big plane or something. And this was something he has said, and the whole analyst, all the analysts inside India, the military analysts, are baffled by this thing that he has said. And they're saying, I was listening to Praveen Swane. He was saying that it's really something we should be happy about, but where is the evidence? Why has he said this 3 months later? And which aircrafts did the Indian Air Force drop? Because the systems that are the S-400 systems or the missiles that are inside these fighter jets, all of them, when they hit a target, they know the target is specified. They know the make of that target, the location of that target, and everything is already on their data sheet. So if they did drop down Jet 02, then where is the evidence? Where is the information about that? So that's become a joke inside India.
The Indians said that they downed an F-16 aircraft in that little 2-day war, but then again Pakistan comes up and says that we never flew an F-16 in this war. They were only J-17 Thunders. How can you down an F-16 when Pakistan never got the F-16 up?
They hit them in the hangars. They hit them in the hangars, and even if that happens, because if you hit an F-16, immediately the info goes to the US because they have these, bugs inside their all their weapons. So US would have immediately said that yes, one of our F-16s has been destroyed.
So let me go to the comment section as well, because there are a few people, and DJ Shahrukh is saying, Wali for world president. Yay! I want to be world president. Is there anyone like, maybe there's like NATO presidents, but there's no world president. So yeah, thank you DJ Shahrukh for the nice comments. Fazan is saying, welcome back, Wali Wonders. We're so glad to see you again after a week. Hope you had a great time, and here's to another amazing week ahead. Thank you, Fazan, for such nice and wonderful comments. And Mohsin Iqbal is here. He's saying hello. Musa is here, and he's saying hello, hello, hello. Happy Independence Day, guys. Mohsin Iqbal is also saying happy 14th August. Musa is saying hello, happy independence to my Indian brothers as well. Yes, today is 15th August, and this is the day when India got independent, and it was a day after Pakistan's independence. We should have done a live stream yesterday as well on 14th of August, because 14 अगस्त जो है वो हमारे लिए हमेशा इतनी स्पेशल रही है. हम लोगों ने हमेशा जो है पटाखे जो है और झंडियाँ, and all of the offices nearby were also had all these jhandis and all this decoration going on. There was this big flag just right around the corner from here, Pakistani flag. I don't know, it was covering like 4 or 5 stories, and it was such a beautiful thing to see. और इस दफ़ा बड़े जोश व खरोश से सबने जो है ना 14 अगस्त मनाई है. सारे जो निकले हुए थे, स्पेशली कल के दिन जो है वो बड़ा हल्ला गुल्ला, और पूरे जो है लिबर्टी और बाकी से एरिया सारा कुछ जो है वो ट्रैफिक से जैम पैक हुआ हुआ था. लोग बाजे लेके निकले हुए थे, 14 अगस्त मना रहे थे, और बारिश भी हुई है. The weather was kind of nice in Lahore. It was raining a bit as well, and I thought that because of the rain, there was people were gonna just sit at home and not enjoy 14th August, but बारिश की वजह से लोग और डबल एंजॉय करने लगे 14 अगस्त को. So hopefully we can show a few videos as well of 14 August. So where were we? Asma is saying after August 14th, Pakistan future will depend on these global agreements. No, our future might depend on them, but not really, because it's the first time after such a long while that Pakistan is now in the good books of United States of America, and India जो है वो bad books में आ गया अमेरिका के. और पलकी शर्मा आगे कहती है कि Pakistan is lobbying $600,000 every month, while India is like 10 times the economy, and it's not even spending half as much as Pakistan, and Pakistan is obviously winning. So yeah, हम लोग हमेशा bad books में रहे हैं. It's like only a few days, and hopefully this is not because of the Russia-Ukraine war and because Trump wants like to take aggressive position towards Mr. Modi. Hopefully this is like a start of a great new era for Pakistan and era of prosperity, because finally people see कि हमारे मुल्क के अंदर भी बहुत ज़्यादा potential है. और Mohsin Iqbal is saying Trump-Putin Alaska meeting chessboard ready है. बस देखना है कि कौन सा move checkmate करेगा. Hopefully, because Zelensky जो है वो बेचारा रो रहा है, और Zelensky के आंसू निकल रहे हैं, और Zelensky कह रहे हैं कि मुझे पहले तुम सिक्योरिटी जो है ना मेरी पूरी सीधी करो, मुझे सिक्योरिटी एश्योरेंस दो कि मुझे कुछ नहीं होगा, और मुझे मेरी जगह वापस दो जो है यूक्रेनियन लोग जो हैं वो बड़े क्या कहते हैं ब्रेव हैं और वो अपनी लैंड के लिए उन्होंने लड़ा है ऑल्दो जो सारा मेन पार्ट था यूक्रेन का आई मीन यूक्रेन की थाउजेंड्स ऑफ किलोमीटर्स की लैंड थी जो कि ओशन के साथ लगती थी ओशन फ्रंट प्रॉपर्टी डोनाल्ड ट्रंप आके कहता है कि ओशन फ्रंट प्रॉपर्टी सबसे महंगी होती है तो ये ओशन फ्रंट प्रॉपर्टी जो थाउजेंड्स ऑफ किलोमीटर्स थी उसका कोई 70-80% रशिया ने टेक ओवर कर लिया है although in actual words Russia might have taken like 20% of Ukraine मगर उन्होंने सारी अच्छी अच्छी ज़मीनें अपने पास रख ली हैं और इस वजह से बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया है यूक्रेन के लिए कि वो क्या चीज़ को अब मतलब कि उनकी जो बेस्ट लैंड थी अगर वो चली गई है तो ज़ेलेंस्की तो कह रहा है कि मुझे मेरी ज़मीन वापस कर दो मैं जंग ख़त्म कर दूंगा मगर पुतिन क्या करेगा जब आप जंग जीतते हो तो फिर एक और आपकी पोजीशन होती है मगर जब आप जंग बुरी तरह हार जाओ तो फिर आप निगोशिएटिंग टेबल पे नहीं होते और यही हुआ लास्ट टाइम जब पुतिन और ट्रंप और ज़ेलेंस्की इकट्ठे हुए तो ट्रंप ने कितनी बेइज्जती की और यूरोप एक्चुअली कह रहा था कि पुतिन के साथ मीटिंग में ज़ेलेंस्की को भी डालो but it was not going to happen because Zelensky जो है ना वो out of control एक जो है साइकोपैथ है और वो उसने ट्रम्प की भी वो बेइज्जती करना शुरू कर देता है तो ट्रम्प ने ये अच्छा समझा कि उसने कहा कि नहीं नहीं Zelensky घर पे बैठे हम लोग जो है ना सारी चीज़ को खुद मैनेज करते हैं so Sophia Williams is here she's saying hello and Sophia Williams is also saying Happy Independence Day. Ikra Tabassum is here. She's saying
Independence Day to you all.
Hello, Vali and Auntie.
Hello, hello.
And she's also calling Sophia Williams beautiful lady. And ये क्या ये summit Ukraine war का end game हो सकता है? That's what we're hoping for. That's what we think should happen in an hour and we really hope but it's not even an hour it's going to start in like 5-6 minutes but I don't think they're going to go live in front of the TV and discuss maybe after like talking for an hour or two maybe they come up to the TV and they do like this press conference magar I hope कि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप जो है वो सुबह सुबह बैठ गया था अपने जहाज़ पे एयरफोर्स वन पे और वो निकल गया था और वो कह कर गया कि मैं जो है ना डील करके आऊँगा तो अहमद मुनीर सिंह हेलो एंड इकरा सिंह इस मीटिंग के बाद एशिया का पावर बैलेंस बदल सकता है we hope that it goes into the best scenario and Ahmed Munir is saying if Trump-Putin summit truly changes the course of the Ukraine war its impact won't be limited to Europe. It could redefine global alliances. So I'll read the other comments in a bit, but that's like people are really interested about this summit and it could like really, really shift the global scenarios.
Actually, the first thing it's going to happen is that Russia is going to come out as a victor. And you know, Russia's military prowess has been proven before also. Like the amazing thing about Russia is that it broke down, the Soviet Union broke down, and Russia faced a lot of economic issues and hurdles and all that. But it repaired itself. It made itself again. It developed its military industry and all this economy and everything, and it has come out to be another, superpower type of country again after such a bad phase it had gone through it. And the US, it had become the unipolar single superpower of the world, and again Russia was the country that challenged. Actually, Russia never wanted to challenge the US, but the military analysts, they say that the US always needed an enemy. If they don't have an enemy, they create an enemy. So what the US used to do was they called Russia the axis of evil. They called Russia the bad guy, and they pushed Russia into that, evil box, axis of evil box, and they, because they needed an enemy, because they always need to have to go to wars, because they have this huge industrial military industrial complex in their country. So to support that weapon industry, they need more wars, and they always need an enemy and bad guys.
So can you see the videos that I'm showing right now? Yes. So this is Sergey Lavrov. I mean, there's like, who's it? Trump's second guy? I forgot his name.
Rubio, एक है.
Yeah.
Marco
so
Rubio है और एक.
This Sergey Lavrov guy is like in high spirits, and he is second in command to Putin, and he is off towards the meeting. And in the second post, it says more than 70,000 people are live tracking Tu-214 carrying Vladimir Putin flight radar 24 ahead of Alaska summit. And it's showing that maybe Putin has like come half the way. It's taking a bit of time.
It's a map or something?
Yeah, it's a map. It's showing Putin's flight.
Oh.
And 70,000 people are tracking. You might be right that there might be...
Maybe the Interpol is also tracking.
There might be... could they assassinate if... I
God,
think,
that would be total disaster.
I think Russia has like nuclear bombs ready for a scenario like that. Some people say that they don't even really need like their generals to make this worldwide global nuclear war happen, because they detect this seismic activities. If like there's like an attack on Russia, the AI system can recognize that there's like a full-scale attack on Russia, and the AI system tries to contact all the big leaders of Russia, and if they don't respond to that AI, the AI will start firing nuclear missiles anyways.
So there can't be a Tom Cruise type of scenario where Tom Cruise comes with his 2-3 friends and abducts Putin and gives it to IMF and Interpol.
That's like a Hollywood fantasy. So again, let me show you a video. Can we show this video? So this is a video of Russian President Vladimir Putin on the way to Alaska for a meeting with the US President Donald J. Trump. And you can see the convoy. It's like a lot of cars, I mean, that's like a lot of cars. Putin is prepared for the meeting.
Yeah,
he's not like joking.
Yeah, he's got all the guns and, commandos and all those.
I was wondering if they invited Zelensky to the meeting and Zelensky came in with a hand grenade and tried to blow the whole place up. That would be a scene from a Hollywood movie. But yeah, he would blow up America's president and Russia's president. He would blow up himself and a lot of influential people that would be in Alaska. And they were actually... what can you say? There were actually rallies happening in Alaska for peace, and they were really cheering up Donald J. Trump to have like a negotiation with Putin. And I guess Alaska and the people of Alaska are anti-war and they want peace in the world, and that's like a good sign. At least some of the Alaskans are happy about the peace thingy. And here is an image of Zelensky. Can we see this image? So Zelensky has been caught by Trump's Secret Service trying to sneak into the US and Russia peace summit. And it's a picture of Zelensky. And he's like, I don't know, dressed like an old lady. Miser and yeah, I guess everyone's gonna win. The whole world's gonna win, but Zelensky is about to lose. Like, I mean, it's going to be the worst defeat for Zelensky. So, so yeah, we'll continue with the news, but let's go back to India, our favorite topic, and Mr. Modi, who's our favorite topic. So, what does Modi want? Modi values his strategic autonomy and has bought cheap Russian oil while it's losing its ties with the United States of America and Europe as well. And there are like America is going to obviously put new sanctions. That's why I guess कि मोदी जो है ना अभी थोड़ा सा euphoric. He's in a euphoric state, and he is wishing that please America, please Russia, make some peace. Don't make me the scapegoat. And India's India had like this bromance with the United States of America, and this bromance fell out because India is also close with Russia. They've always been close with Russia. I guess from the beginning, because India always had the Russian military equipment, like the which planes were they? The Mirage or something
Yeah,
like
we
that.
still have
From,
those
yeah,
mirages. Yes.
Mirages from Russia. And apparently, Pakistan was always with America. And this time, it was in this conflict between Russia and Ukraine, it really shows who is taking whose side. And the Russian deal could pressure India to choose sides and restrict its energy imports and weaken its leverage in the region. So it really means a lot for Modi. And a Trump-Putin peace deal that lifts sanctions and stabilizes energy markets could reduce India's energy costs, and a settlement that freezes Russian gains might legitimize Moscow's control over Ukrainian territory. And that strengthens Russia and India's long-term partnership. And the challenges that India faces is to balance relationship with Washington and Moscow. Because the pressure on India and the pressure on Modi ji is so much that Modi ji, we hear that he's sitting in his washroom because it's too much pressure. So I'll give you like a few things about the Minsk agreement. Minsk 1 happened in September 2014, and then you can tell our audience about what really happened in the Minsk agreement. So it was like a 12-point ceasefire deal between the Ukraine and Russian-backed separatists and the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe. So it provided an immediate ceasefire, withdrawal of heavy weapons, and OSCE monitoring. They also exchanged prisoners and amnesty and constitutional reforms to grant special status to parts of Donetsk and Luhansk. And it quickly collapsed because of the violations on both sides. And a year after that, they had the Minsk II agreement, and it was like a 13-point agreement, and that also backfired. And the leaders of France, Germany, Russia, and Ukraine repeatedly broke this ceasefire, and it was like a political nightmare. Ukraine was to give the separatist region special status and hold local elections under the Ukrainian war, and restore border control only after the reforms. So Russia claimed it was not a party to the conflict and never withdrew its forces in the Minsk II agreement. And actually, it's also the Minsk agreement, and also after it being broken 2 times, Russia also found that there were almost around 40 biological weapon factories near its borders, which was like a big risk to Russia. So there have been ceasefires before. This conflict has gone on for like at least 15 years, 10, 15 years, or even more.
Yeah.
And if Minsk 1 and Minsk 2 failed, what's stopping these parties to make this another Minsk 3 type of an agreement, and then they don't follow it, and things just get even worse?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the both sides, there were reasons why they broke those agreements, because Europe was thinking that they were going to win this war, and after this Minsk II agreement fell down, there was a leak of Angela Merkel's phone call in which she was saying to the other partners of this Minsk group, and she was saying that we never intended to have a ceasefire, we never intended to end the war. We were just buying time by having these agreements, and we actually wanted the war to go on. So it was proven that the European side was not honest with these agreements. And on the other side, these 4 or 5 provinces that, oblasts they call them, that Russia has occupied were all having Russian ethnic majority in them. And these provinces were the provinces in which the people did not want Ukraine to be a part of the EU or a part of NATO, because they were more affiliated with the Russian people. They were ethnically the same. They were friends, they were relatives, and they spoke the same language, and they had a lot of economic ties, industrial ties with Russia. They were having all this cheap gas from Russia and all that. So what happened when Putin saw that these people are not honest in their talks, he arranged referendums in each of those oblast provinces, in Donbass, and I think Zaporizhzhia, and three provinces, and Crimea also. There were referendums held in those oblasts, and in each of the referendum, the people voted to be part of Russia. So automatically, if the people are saying that we want to be part of Russia, Russia says, okay, now these provinces belong to Russia. So now if Trump agrees.
Well, Putin doesn't take no for an answer. Some people say that
already, when last time Putin and Trump met, that time also Trump kept telling Zelensky that you are going to have to give up so many things because Russia is in a better position. And now again Trump knows, and Trump knows that he's going to have to agree that Ukraine will not enter the EU, Ukraine will not enter the NATO, and maybe he will also say that all the promises that you have taken, you will keep them. So if that is going to be total victory for Russia, although Russia has said time and again that it is not interested in occupying Ukrainian land. It wants a unified...
They do want Donbass.
Actually, what will happen if Zelensky goes away, and then there is again a pro-Russian government in Ukraine. I think it was Poroshenko who was ousted, and Poroshenko is actually in Russia, in their custody. And if Poroshenko or somebody like him, I'm not remembering exact name, I think it was Poroshenko or... So if that type of a person comes back, and it is a country that is politically, strategically, economically allied with Russia, then Russia does not have any interest in keeping their provinces. Why? Russia has a lot of land already.
Why would they even risk giving the lands that they have won from
Well, if
Ukraine
they have
back
a
to them.
friendly government in Ukraine and that government asks them.
But the United States is known for overthrowing friendly regimes to
Yeah.
the Russians.
Yeah.
So they
But
don't
I
want to
think,
be in an existential risk
you know,
now.
I think the Europeans and the US have learned a lesson that they cannot win the war with Russia. Maybe they could win other wars. But they haven't won any war, in fact. They haven't won the Afghanistan war or the Iraqi war or the Syrian war or even like the Vietnam war. They lost each and every war that they entered.
But you also have to admit that a big amount of Russian people have died in this war.
Yes, destruction is what they get. That is their fruit of war, that they destroy the country when they leave that battleground. That whole country, that whole land region is totally decimated, destroyed. I mean, if that is what the aim of war is, then they really have succeeded in all their wars. But if they come with the slogan कि हम democracy लेकर आएंगे, यहाँ से सदाम को dictator को हटा के इस मुल्क को हम democracy देंगे और इनको बचाएंगे, तो that anything was never happening. They destroyed each and every city of these countries. इराक का एक एक सिटी उन्होंने गिरा दिया, ज़मीन बोस कर दिया. सीरिया का एक एक सिटी उन्होंने गिरा दिया. लीबिया का एक एक सिटी उन्होंने गिरा दिया. सो क्या उनका स्ट्रेटजी ऑफ वॉर है कि उस मुल्क को जीतना, जिसको कहते हैं ना हार्ट्स एंड माइंड्स को जीत लेना, उसको अपनी तरफ ले आना, उसके अंदर एक प्रो US स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट को ले आना, ऐसा कुछ भी किसी में नहीं हुआ. बल्कि अगर अफ़गानिस्तान के एग्जांपल आप ले लो तो उसमें एक स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट आ गई है, लगता है तालिबान की गवर्नमेंट आ गई है, लेकिन वो टोटली एंटी US है. तो व्हाट इज़ द मीनिंग ऑफ सक्सेस फॉर US मिलिट्री एंड डिफेंस स्ट्रैटेजिस्ट? क्या है उनकी तरकीब, क्या है और क्या सोच है उनकी? और उनको ऐसा लगता है कि आई यूज्ड टू से कि क्योस थ्योरी पे शायद वो बिलीव करते हैं कि डिस्ट्रॉय कर दो सब कुछ, क्योस ले आओ टोटल, और उस पूरी डिस्ट्रक्शन में से तुम्हारे लिए कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा शायद निकल आए. मे बी दैट इज़ व्हाट दे आर लुकिंग फॉर. बिकॉज अगेन यू ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट दैट ऑल्सो कि जो यूरोप है और US है, उनकी इकोनॉमीज़ जो है वो टोटल फ्री फॉल में है इस वक्त. बिल्कुल वो तबाही की एज के ऊपर हैं और उनको नज़र आ रहा है कि अगले 4-5 साल में वो यानी बहुत इकोनॉमिकली नीचे चले जाएंगे. और उस हार को, उस चीज़ को, डिफीट को तस्लीम नहीं करने की वजह से वो चाहते हैं कि हम पूरी दुनिया में क्यास और डिस्ट्रक्शन लेकर आ जाएं, तो शायद सबको तबाह करके फिर हम जीत जाएं शायद. Truly,
that is like a destructive. So I want to show a video as well. I mean, AI is responsible for such hilarious videos, and I don't know what people are thinking when they make these AI videos. So this is a picture of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, and they're drawing the line between Ukraine, and Zelensky is sitting behind them, standing behind them with 2 glasses of champagne and a bottle. So let's see the video.
Look at Trump's face expression.
So Trump and Zelensky signed the deal, and Zelensky just oh my God, Zelensky's crying and he's jumping in the ocean. So that was a good video. So let's go to a few comments because there's a lot of comments going on. And where were we? Janta Amir is here. Ahmed Munir is here. And he is saying, hello Ikra, I think Pakistan अपनी position China के साथ align करेगा. That is what is happening because of this Russia-Ukraine war and Pakistan aligning itself towards America. Although America is also offering a lot of things to us, like they will help us take this big massive oil beneath the Kekra One Ocean, and they're going to help us export that oil, and they're going to give us all the technology, and they're also going to help us with the mining and everything. But China also wants the similar sort of things from Pakistan. And we hope कि ये जो सारा conflict resolution है, especially आज के दिन कोई proper बात हो जाए यूक्रेन और रशिया और डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प की कोई ना कोई एग्रीमेंट हो जाए, कोई ना कोई सीज़फायर हो जाए, बिकॉज हम लोग चाइना के साथ अपनी स्ट्रेटेजिक अलायंस वी आर लूजिंग इट विद चाइना, and that's like a big blow because we can't like really beggars can't be choosers. That's what our president said. And if Trump-Putin summit truly changes the course of Ukraine war, its impact won't be limited to Europe. It could redefine global alliances. Ahmed Munir, very good point. And Nadeem Ahmed is here. He's saying hello to you, Nadeem Ahmed. Ikra saying Ahmed Munir सही कहा, लेकिन क्वेश्चन ये है कि नई अलायंसेस में पाकिस्तान का रोल क्या होगा. पाकिस्तान का पॉजिटिव ही रोल होगा. अभी वैसे for now we're winning because America is on our side and we are taking sides with America and India is losing. But even if this war stops, and we hope that it does, because it could certainly go towards a World War III or even like a localized nuclear war between Ukraine and Russia. Although Ukraine was the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world when in 1991 when it got separated from Russia because the Soviet Union broke up. So they had around 1,800 nuclear weapons. Is that like unbelievable? And the United States and the United Kingdom gave them security guarantees as well as Russia that they should return all these nuclear weapons back to Russia. And for the rest of their whole life cycle, no one would even dare think about looking at them with a bad eye. But what happens is when you lose your nuclear weapons, things can go very bad. So that's what I'm was talking about कि जो कि ये यूक्रेन रशिया का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, अगर ये एंड होता है तो ये बहुत अच्छा होगा पूरी दुनिया के लिए. वर्ल्ड पीस के लिए इज़ गोइंग टू बी अ मेजर पिवटल टर्निंग पॉइंट. एंड अहमद मुनीर इज सेइंग हेलो इकरा, आई थिंक पाकिस्तान अपनी पोजीशन चाइना के साथ अलाइन करे. आई जस्ट रेड दैट. शायद पाकिस्तान को इकोनॉमिक्स एंड डिफेंस डील्स का फ़ायदा उठाना चाहिए. वो तो हम उठा रहे हैं.
मुझे थोड़ा सा ऐड कर दूं मैं यहाँ पर, बिकॉज यू आर सेइंग दिस थिंग कि पाकिस्तान जो है वो रिस्क कर रहा है चाइना के साथ अपनी जो अलायंसेस है, विच इज़ नॉट द केस एक्चुअली. द यूएस क्लियरली एंड लाइक नोज़ फॉर पक्का कि पाकिस्तान की जो अलायंस है चाइना के साथ वो इकोनॉमिक भी है, स्ट्रेटिजिक भी है, और वो इस किस्म की अलायंस है जिसको रिस्क करना पाकिस्तान अफोर्ड कर ही नहीं सकता. बिकॉज़ चाइना अगर आपके साथ नहीं खड़ा होता तो आप जो दावे कर रहे हो कि हम अपने पानी को बचाएंगे, हम इंडिया को ये कर देंगे, वो सब हम नहीं कर सकते. सो US knows very well that Pakistan is never going to like ditch China for anything. And knowing that Trump has approached Pakistan, because you know the thing that in the long run, you know, Trump is actually always double-minded in the case of China. Trump has also यानी US के जो मंदुबीन है वो चाइना आते जाते रहते हैं और वो कोई ना कोई रास्ता भी ढूंढ रहे होते हैं. बिकॉज ट्रम्प ये सोचता रहता है कि यार अगर मुझे चाइना के साथ कोई अच्छी बिजनेस डील मिल जाती है तो मैं क्यों चाइना के साथ एक नई जंग शुरू करूं. सो व्हाट इज़ हैपनिंग इज़ कि ये जो समिट हो रहा है आज पुतिन और ट्रम्प के दरमियान, इसके कुछ दिन बाद ये खबरें ट्रम्प की तरफ से आ गई हैं कि वो चाइना का भी दौरा करने वाला है. और वो वहाँ पे भी विज़िट करने वाला है। सो ये एक ऐसा ग्लोबल फेज़ चल रहा है ह्यूमैनिटी के ऊपर जिसमें हर जो कंट्री है वो रीथिंक कर रहा है कि यार हमने असल में करना क्या है। वो अपने ऑप्शंस को एक्सप्लोर करें, वो हर एक से मिल रहे हैं, हर पार्टी हर एक से मिल रही है। इस वक्त ट्रम्प का अगर रशिया के साथ अच्छी डील हो जाती है तो हो सकता है रशिया भी उसको चीप ऑयल एंड दिस एंड दैट वो ऑफ़र कर दे। सो अभी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ पीस के अंदर सबके लिए बहुत बेहतरीन है, और इसीलिए हमें लग रहा है कि ट्रम्प को समझ में आ गया कि जंग एक और शुरू कर दूं या इस जंग को बढ़ाऊं तो फ़ायदा कोई बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से नहीं होगा, यूएस की इकॉनमी बेहतर नहीं होएगी, और जो मैगा का जो मेरा दावा है और स्लोगन है मेक अमेरिका ग्रेट अगेन, वो मैं नहीं कर सकूँगा। सो अगर वो करना है तो फिर मुझे पीस लाकर इन्हीं कंट्रीज रशिया और चाइना को अपने सफ़ीर में लाना पड़ेगा ताकि मेरे मुल्क को दोबारा से वो एक रिस्पाइट मिले और एक सांस लेने की जगह मिले। हाँ?
You're right about that, and I want to also show a map of Ukraine and Russia. And can we see the map? Yes, so the red part is all the territory that Russia is occupying in 2025. And it covers most of Lushansk, almost half of Donetsk, and Donetsk, and Zaporizhia is like more than 60-70%. And Kherson and Crimea. Crimea is the first place they took over back in the days, and they tried to annex Crimea.
They have annexed it.
Yeah. So if you see what the Russians had in 2014 was just a little part of Luhansk and a little part of Donetsk, and they had annexed Crimea. And because of Zelensky and because of the guarantees that the United States of America gave to the Ukrainians, they did this bloody war in which they say that around 10,000 people are dying every month. And what is the result? That they lose the whole of Luhansk, most of Donetsk, and they also lose Zaporizhia and Kherson and Crimea. And
Crimea के बारे में तो ये है ना कि वो तो रशिया कह रहा है वो तो मैं वापस नहीं करूँगा, वो तो बन गया है रशिया का हिस्सा।
Crimea. So that is like a big deal. And continuing to our discussion, I want to talk about how the United States and Europe has undermined the Minsk agreement because it was prioritizing a quick ceasefire over enforcement, and the West's desires to stop the fighting and its reluctance to supply Ukrainians with weapons in 2014 and 15 forced Kiev to make painful concessions. And I just showed you the land. There was so little land, and that was even painful for Ukrainians. Now imagine when they have to give half of the Ukrainian, the best oceanfront properties to them. And Carnegie's analysis notes that a series of Ukrainian defeats, the West's unwillingness to provide lethal weapons to Ukraine, and urgent desires to stop the fighting led France and Germany to broker a ceasefire in which Ukraine conceded significant ground to Russia. And this allowed Russia to capitalize on diplomacy while avoiding further Western sanctions. And failure to hold Russia accountable, that's what the Europeans and the Westerners say, that the Minsk text lacked enforcement mechanisms, and Russia and its proxies repeatedly violated those ceasefires, and Europe continued to buy large volumes of Russian gas and oil. And on one hand, they were telling Russia to stop, and on the other hand, they were buying all the cheap gas and oil that they ever required. And EU imports accounted for around a third of Russian exports and 45% of EU's gas imports in 2021, before the war started. This Dependence limited Europe's willingness to impose tougher sanctions and effectively funded Moscow's war's preparations. So that proves the point that Europe itself helped. They were building this pipeline, Germany and Russia were building the biggest pipeline.
Which the US blew off.
Maybe because they sabotaged that pipeline, and they did sabotage it in the beginning of war. I guess NATO submarine went and planted explosives near the pipeline, and they blew up the pipeline. And that might be like a flashing and turning point for Russia as well, because Russia, I don't know, they maybe they would not have continued this war for so long if they still had the Nord Stream pipeline. And
actually, it was a turning point for Germany also, no? Because before that, Germany used to be like a little docile and neutral type of statements coming out. But after that thing, Germany knew that yes, you have to stand with NATO and the EU.
That's the point.
They became
well.
much more aggressive.
Much more. And Russia and the West have failed to call out and counter the real Russian demands. And Western leaders hope that offering land or tempering support would satisfy Putin. But he used the agreements to legitimize the first partition of Ukraine and prepare for the 2022 invasion. And what could happen now in 2025? There could be possible territorial losses and settlement proposals. So currently, Russia controls like
20%.
It almost 19% of Ukraine. That is 114,500 square kilometers.
Huge.
114,000 square kilometers. And this includes Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson. We just showed you the map of that as well. Maybe you can show the map while I'm talking about it. So Russia occupies 88% of Donbass region, roughly 74% of Zaporozhye, and Kherson. And according to Putin, and according to Bloomberg, Kremlin officials now demand that Ukraine secede the entire of Donetsk and Luhansk and Zaporizhia as well, including Ukrainian-controlled areas, along with Crimea. And Russia would halt offensive in Kherson and Zaporizhia while negotiations proceed, but it is unclear whether it would withdraw from those regions. Now, that is like an important point, that is Zelensky willing to give away these regions that easily? And Trump, on the other hand, has acknowledged that there will be some swapping of territories.
Yeah.
All of the territories would be swapped to and just called Russia.
Yeah.
So, you want to add something?
Yeah. Zelensky is actually just, puppet of the, NATO and this US, and he was planted there as their man, and there was also leak of, I think, Victoria Nuland and other newcon leaders of the US who were talking with each other, and it was I think a phone call or a text messages in which Victoria Nuland said that Zelensky is our man, we've chosen him and he's going to be the next president of Ukraine, and they put him there in power, and he did exactly whatever the EU, the NATO, or the US government told him to do. And then why does he resist? Why does he get furious? Because the day he is out of this job, his life is going to be endangered. He will have no place to go. The Ukrainian people will never forgive him, because 5 to 10 million Ukrainian peoples have had to run from their homes and run from Ukraine, and they are living as refugees in other parts of Europe. And so many more millions have been internally displaced, and something like 400,000 to 500,000 Ukrainians have died in this war fighting.
But I've heard he's also threatened by the Azov battalion. When the war started, the Azov battalion commander said to Zelensky, if you even dare to negotiate with Putin or dare to try to stop the war, we'll hang you from the street light.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's not only going to be persecuted by all the other people all around the world, but his own generals will hang him by the street. So I'm going to show a video. President Putin has finally arrived in Alaska, and they have rolled the red carpet for President Zelensky. How great is that? Sorry, for President Putin. And Donald Trump and Putin are walking hand in hand, and they're walking on this red carpet that was laid for President Putin after such a long war and such defeat by the European side and the US side. They're like laying this carpet and they're sitting in the same car. Very cute. Cute gesture by Trump and Putin. And it's also, I'll read the post. The president of Russia and USA met on red carpet and got into the same car. The summit of the president of Russia and USA began with a TT conversation in Trump's limousine. So this is, I guess this is the beast. That's what they call the president's limousine. And they were also escorted by a few fighter jets, I guess, that are standing. And things like seem really cozy. The relationship between Donald Trump and Putin seems really cozy in this video. Zelensky would be like crying right now. He would be crying with like crocodile tears. So let me just keep on playing the video and I'll give my speech. So Trump has acknowledged that there will be some territory swapping, and Ukrainian position, Zelensky's demands are that there's an unconditional ceasefire across the land, sea, and air, and he wants the release of prisoners, return of deported children, and also he wants security guarantees for himself and the ability to maintain Ukraine's troop levels. I guess, and polls show that 82% of Ukrainians oppose seceding any territory, making concessions politically impossible. And what is being speculated by this meeting? There is land for peace swap. That's what they're calling. That Ukraine will give some land away to Russia, and Russia will offer peace. And the media have suggested that Russia may propose Ukraine's surrender of all of Donbass in exchange for a Russian withdrawal from parts of Crimea and Zaporizhzhia. And European leaders stress that any territory decisions must be made by Ukraine alone and oppose a deal imposed by external powers like the United States of America and Donald Trump. Oh my God, that's going to be a big blow. Because Donald Trump, do you agree that Donald Trump can make a deal when he's not even talking to the European leaders and Zelensky?
Yeah,
can he make a deal on his own?
If he could put Zelensky there, Victoria Nuland, and they can take him just slip him out of the scene. That's possible because CIA is the biggest intelligence machine, and they are, experts in regime change operations.
Yeah, that is a point. That is a point. With that, should I read some
Yeah.
comments that are going on?
Yeah, you should.
Where were we? Acha, Ahmed Munir, I think we read a few comments by Ahmed Munir. And Maha Baloch is here. She's saying hello. Happy Independence Day to everyone. Thank you, Maha. Happy Independence Day to you as well. और 14 अगस्त हमारे सारे viewers को 14 अगस्त बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो. I hope all of you guys had a great 14 अगस्त, had a great Independence Day. And Ikra, Maham is saying salam, cute auntie.
Walaikum assalam, bachcho.
Hassan Haroon is waving. Aruj Fatma is here. She's saying hello. Maha Baloch is saying hello. Shiva ji zinda ho aaj. Nahi Shiva ji. Unfortunately, उन्होंने हमारी stream को खैराबाद कह दिया. Hassan Haroon says Trump-Putin deal अगर होती है तो क्या चाइना अपना influence एशिया में और तेज करेगा और उस सिचुएशन में पाकिस्तान के डिप्लोमेटिक स्टैंस क्या होना चाहिए?
वेल चाइना के लिए विन विन सिचुएशन हो जाएगी, रशिया के लिए विन विन सिचुएशन हो जाएगी, और वो जो ख्वाब था कि हम चाइना को भी मात दे देंगे, उसकी ग्रोथ को रोक लेंगे, वो सब ख़त्म हो जाएगा. और वही होगा कि ट्रम्प जो है वो जी जिनपिंग से भी मुलाकात करने के लिए आएगा और उनके साथ भी एक नए सिरे से इकोनॉमिक डील्स और सब कुछ करेंगे. और दैट वुड बी बेस्ट फॉर एवरीबडी, फॉर द होल ह्यूमैनिटी. और फिर उसके बाद एक जो बहुत सोरिंग पॉइंट रह जाएगा सबके लिए, वो है गज़ा वॉर. होपफुली वो भी
एंड होने का वैसे नाम नहीं ले रही मगर होपफुली हो जाएगी. अरूज फातिमा सिंह हैप्पी इंडिपेंडेंस डे. Momna Waheed is waving and she's saying Salam Wali Bhai and Miss Anila.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you, Momna, for being here, for enjoying. Momna is our repeat viewer and we always respect and love all of our fans. And Maheen is waving. Momna is saying आज़ादी मिलने के बाद सबसे बड़ी जिम्मेदारी क्या होती है, उसकी हिफाजत करना या उसका बेहतरीन इस्तेमाल. वाह जी, दैट्स लाइक अ वेरी नाइस कमेंट. नूर फैसल इज सेइंग यस मोमना, बिल्कुल. आज़ादी का असल मतलब सिर्फ उसकी हिफाजत नहीं बल्कि उसकी बेहतरीन इस्तेमाल करना है ताकि मुल्क तरक्की करे और आवाम का मुस्तकबिल बेहतर हो. we hope that's like a 14th August resolution for us Pakistanis. हमें जो है
और उसके लिए आई थिंक उसके लिए सबसे ज़रूरी है पीस होना. बिकॉज पाकिस्तान की तरक्की में क्या चीज़ हर्डल बनी, पहले तो आपके नेबरहुड में रशिया अफगान वॉर, वो भी 10-12 साल चली. उसके बाद यूएस का अफगानिस्तान के अंदर आ जाना, वो भी 20 साल तक चला. तो ये जो आपके नेबरहुड में वॉर्स होती हैं ना, और आपके नेबरहुड के साथ आपको टेंशन्स होती हैं, वो आपकी तरक्की को इम्पीड करती हैं. वो आपको तरक्की के रास्ते पे नए नए स्कीम्स और दूसरे ममालिक के साथ डील्स करने में आपको इशू होता है. बिकॉज पीपल आर थिंकिंग कि यार इनकी तो अभी जंग होने वाली है, तो इनके साथ हम क्या प्रोजेक्ट शुरू करें. सो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि एशिया में ये जंगों का सिलसिला ख़त्म हो, मुसलमान उम्मत की जो बेल्ट है उसमें जंगों का सिलसिला ख़त्म हो, रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन शुरू हो और मतलब रिस्पाइट मिले इंसानियत को, पूरी इंसानियत को. और स्पेशली मतलब हमारे रीजन में एशिया में ये तरक्की का जो है ना वो एक बहुत सुनहरा दौर आने वाला है. बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट, बिकॉज ऑफ द ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ बेल्ट एंड रोड प्रोजेक्ट्स जो कि सिर्फ पाकिस्तान में सीपेक की शक्ल में नहीं है बल्कि एशिया के हर कंट्री के अंदर प्रोजेक्ट्स की जो प्लानिंग है वो ले डाउन हो चुकी है और उनके साथ सारे वो उसकी ब्लूप्रिंट्स बन गए और बहुत सारी जगहों पे ये प्रोजेक्ट्स शुरू हो भी चुके हैं. अफ्रीका में शुरू हो चुके हैं, साउथ अमेरिका में शुरू हो चुके हैं. सो ये एक मतलब एक सुनहरा दौर है जो हमारा इंतज़ार कर रहा है. लेकिन इसके रास्ते में क्या चीज़ हायल हो जाती, यही जंगें और यही दूसरों की तरक्की ना बर्दाश्त करना, ये दूसरों के रास्ते में रुकावटें पैदा करना और हमेशा इंसानियत को एक मुसीबत ज़्यादा हालत में रखना ये होता है जो आपकी तरक्की को रोकता है.
So, coming back to our topic, and we were talking about that Europeans are saying that any deal without Zelensky is not like a good deal, and they should ask Zelensky. But I don't think the US is even wants to hear what Zelensky wants to say, because there was also talks that some of the reporters asked Donald Trump that, do you want Zelensky to be there? And I really think that was a planted question. They wanted Zelensky, the Europeans wanted Zelensky to be a part of this thing and to sabotage the whole deal. And also, do you know, in the past 24 hours, Zelensky has been doing these major attacks on Russia. So they have destroyed some of their factories deep inside Russia, and they're also doing attacks on their military. That is to sabotage this whole summit. And I mean, even the Europeans want to sabotage this summit. Why do they want a World War III? Why do they want to mess with a nuclear-powered nation? Because if Russia is in any way losing the war, they would start throwing nuclear weapons here and there and everywhere, and the whole world would be at risk. But I guess these few influential people who sit behind doors and make these deals, they would rather have the world finish than Zelensky being humiliated in this war. And what does each player want? What does Russia want? Russia wants to consolidate control over annexed regions like Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Zaporizhia, and Crimea. And it wants to block Ukraine's NATO membership. Why does Ukraine want to go into NATO? That was like the biggest mistake, and that's what Putin has been talking about since the start of war. But these Azov battalion, neo-Nazi type of people, they I don't know why they are hell-bent in going into NATO. And if they get into NATO, that's going to be a big, big crisis for Russia. And Putin wants to end Western arms supplies and sanctions, and he wants to secure legal recognition of Russian language and culture and enshrine so-called denazification provisions. So, and what does Zelensky want? He wants a comprehensive ceasefire. He wants release of all of his prisoners, and there's some abducted children as well. He wants them to Russia to return them, and Russian withdrawal from occupied territories, restoration of Ukrainian borders, and legally bind security guarantees, phase lifting of sanctions tied to Russia. So that's like a dream that Zelensky might have, that Russia just leaves all the Ukrainian territory. But I don't think that is even a possibility. I guess
the only thing that is going to leave is Zelensky himself.
Yes. If Trump, Putin would have told Trump what he wants, but if Trump goes in this meeting and says Putin to just leave all that land that he has taken over for the past 3.5 years, I don't think that Putin would stay in that meeting for much longer. He would just fly away.
I think that Putin can give this option, that remove Zelensky and put back the president, pro-Russian president that was there before. And in that case, because Putin has been saying, Russia has been saying this thing before also, that they're not interested in going to at war with Ukraine or taking their territory, or like the Europeans have been saying that the next step is going to be like Russia attacking Poland or some other European country. Sergei Lavrov and Putin have repeatedly been saying that we are not interested in war. We don't want to occupy any other country. All we want is that NATO should not come right at our borders, because the border between the Ukrainian border, the distance between the Ukrainian border and Moscow was just 300 kilometers or so. And Putin said that if Ukraine becomes part of NATO, NATO is going to put their ballistic missiles at that border, the Ukrainian border with Russia, and that those missiles are just going to be, their nuclear ballistic missiles are going to be like raining on the Russian capital. And that is something that Russia thought that was just not acceptable at any cost. It was a war that Putin had to fight for the existential threat that Russia was facing. Like the existence of Russia was under a threat because of this.
Because of all this. And that is like a really amazing point. I just read the comment. Someone is saying, saw Wali live after so many plays. I thought it would be an energy blast, but it's running on low battery mode. After listening for an hour, my own battery is low now. That is a nice comment. Yeah, we today we might be a little low on energy, and sorry for not being continuously streaming, but we'll make sure that in the coming days we do these streams more often. We've been busy with a few projects, and that's why we couldn't come on the streams. But yeah, the topic is such, the Ukraine and Russian topic, that we are a little like on the low energy right now. We could obviously diss Ukraine, and we could diss Putin, and we could diss Zelensky and Trump. But I guess it's like a serious topic today. That's why we are in like a serious mood. And now another interesting question is, what does Trump want? Trump wants to achieve a quick peace that can be marketed as diplomatic triumph. And Trump initially floated that land swaps would be a great idea, but later emphasized that any agreement must be negotiated, and a ceasefire could not be possible without inviting Zelensky into a second summit. He also says that tariffs such as 50% on India and threats of new sanctions to bring Russia on the table are still on board. And then the last player, Europe. What does Europe want? So Britain, France, Germany, and other EU states insist that Ukraine must decide its own territorial future, which is like a fantasy for Europe. And they support a ceasefire followed by negotiations with Kiev's participation and propose deploying peacekeepers after fighting ends. And who are these peacekeepers going to be? I mean, it's is NATO going to peacekeep? And Europe's is wary of any US-Russian deal that trades Ukrainian territory for peace. And it's like a really good option. You get peace and you give away some of your land. Is that such a bad option?
Well, this is what they have earned for themselves. Because just like I said, Putin was never interested in having this war. And from the first day, Putin was saying that just give me in return that Ukraine is not going to take NATO or EU membership, and I'm going to withdraw, and there's going to be peace. But these people, the Western European countries, they keep on pumping Zelensky, keep on sending more weapons, keep on throwing oil on fire. That they have been doing that, and they have promising Zelensky that when you become a European Union member, your country is going to be developed, and you're going to become, a model state or whatever. And Zelensky has been continuously asking them since the war has begun that now you enter Ukraine into the EU, and now EU has repeatedly said to Zelensky that you are not fulfilling the requirements, you are not in a position, EU cannot take you in. So what kind of this double game is it that EU plays with Ukraine? I mean, is it their friend or is it their, liability, or what is it? And now if you know that after 2 or 3 years of the war, you cannot do anything good for Ukraine or Zelensky, then back off. Why are you going for more wars? And, the defense chiefs of the UK, Germany, and other European countries, Britain, and France even, they have been publicly come out saying that our country needs to prepare for a big war. Why have they been like making such stupid statements? Why do they want the whole Europe to be dragged into another war? Why?
That is a great point. Do we want to come to a few comments now? Yeah. I mean, where were we? Yes, Maha Baloch is saying Happy Independence Day to everyone. And I think we've read this comment. And Aruj Fatma is also saying Happy Independence Day. And Noor Faisal is saying absolutely. Imanullah ka bhi shayad nahi pada. Imanullah, they shake hands at the table, but people keep dying on ground. What kind of diplomacy is this? That is like a really good question, and I think the most realistic and immediate outcome is a temporary ceasefire that freezes the front line. And that's what we're hoping for. And obviously, they try to do this diplomacy, and the normal people are the ones who are dying and facing this brutal, brutal war. And Noor Faisal is saying absolutely right. Real diplomacy is when people lives improve on the ground, not just through photo ops. Imanullah saying, yo bro. Hafza Hamid is saying, Amber Mahin is saying, second time here. Thank you, Amber, for being here, for supporting our channel, for all the wonderful comments. And we hope that all of you guys do like, share, and subscribe our channel, because it's like a free way to support what we do. And Amber Mahin is saying, India हमेशा peace talks का supporter बनकर फोटो खिंचवाता है, लेकिन ground पे अपनी policy से tension बढ़ाता है. That is Mr. Modi. Hafza Hamid is saying, yes, well said. And Arnie's here. Arnie saying, bro, seeing you after quite a while. Otherwise, you used to come live every day with full energy. What happened? You're working on some investigation or what? we are
you
investigating.
You were after Putin and this Trump thing.
We're investigating today. And Laiba Akram is showing the teeth. And Arnie is waving and she's saying, hey Laiba. And Aruj Fatma is saying, I hate Palki Sharma. We all hate Palki Sharma. Amtul Tabassum. Wali wonders. Very interesting topic. And Tony's Lopez is saying scum. Why, Tony? Why? Arush Fatma is saying Palki Sharma ko China भेज देना चाहिए इंडिया वालों को. पलकी शर्मा का टाइम आ गया. इतनी बुढ़ी हो गई मगर उसको भी तक शर्म नहीं आती कि मैं क्या बात है. पलकी काफी बुढ़ी है. कब्र में उसका एक पैर है मगर उसको भी तक शर्म नहीं आई. Numan Bhatt is saying hello bro after a long time. Yes, we did a few live streams about India, but they were late at night, so I think, unfortunately, much of our audience was not there. The real question isn't what Trump and Putin will agree on, it's what they both quietly leave unsaid, because that's where the real power shift happens. Wow.
Deep.
Deep. And that was Asma. And Ehsan Ali saying, hello, Miss Asma. And they're talking to each other. Ehsan Ali saying, got the chance to see you and hear you after so many days. Thank you, Ehsan. Thank you for all our loyal viewers who always watch our live streams. And we're so happy that we were away. जब आप रोज रोज शक्ल दिखाते हो ना, तो हमने सुना है कि आपकी ना वो उतनी इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं रहती, तो हमने सोचा कि कुछ दिन हम शक्ल ना दिखाएं ताकि हमारी इम्पोर्टेंस मेंटेन रहे. You guys talk sensibly, but why do you copy others?
No, we don't copy others. Who do we copy?
Maybe. Yeah, Murtaza, please tell who do we copy? And Ikra Tabassum is saying, आज मुर्तज़ा भाई की न्यू बात पे फोकस करके इनको just ignore किया जाए. We like constructive criticism. I mean, it's not that bad to be criticized. And Mohammed Fazan is saying, walking style so weird, similar to KGB security guards. Yes, that's what I think he's talking about Putin.
Yeah.
The video we were showing. Arnie, Ikra ji, आप ignore करेंगे तो मैं trending हो जाएंगे फिर.
Musa is, I think,
Putin looking pooky. And Ikra Tabassum से हाँ फिर तो आपकी पॉपुलैरिटी का भी वीज़ा बनवाना पड़ेगा.
मुर्तज़ा को भी पलकी शर्मा के साथ तो नहीं फिर भेजना पड़ेगा.
And Ikra Tabassum is saying, Musa तो भी सुन लो अब, को भी सुन लो अब. And Murtaza is laughing. Anila Amjad is here. Hello, Miss Anila. Best of luck. So Anila,
Hello, Anika.
we have Anila sitting over here, and we have Anila in the comments. Thank you, Anila, for joining our live streams. And Dante Hell is saying hello. And Javedi Aslam is saying, well said, Miss Anila. The true strength of Pakistan lies in its people. Only when we learn honestly, hard work, and supporting one another will this nation reach its true greatness.
Yes. Truly said.
And I think Murtaza Ahmed ka maine comment padha tha, low on battery. Murtaza is saying, what are the timings and the days to watch you live and fresh? Inshallah, we'll try to do our stream tomorrow as well. It's Saturday. And we'll try to come up with a very spicy and great topic that we can hopefully entertain you guys. Ikra says, Wali bhai लगता है आज मेरी भी condition Murtaza जैसी same hai. Bro, the project is going fine, but think about US to try meeting us in a happy mood.
No, about us too.
About us to try meeting us in a happy mood sometimes.
Right.
Murtaza, we're with you. And Aruj Fatma saying, Palki Sharma ko China no kabar mein
bhej.
देना चाहिए. And Murtaza is saying, Aruj से शैतान लोग 4 लोगों को साथ कब्र में
लेकर ही जाते हैं.
हाँ, ऐसे शैतान को, हाँ,
नहीं, अरूज ऐसे शैतान लोग 4 लोग को साथ लेकर
कब्र में लेकर जाते हैं. हाँ, आपका क्या साथ जाने का ख्याल है? So there's a few
nice
comments.
to read all these lively comments. I mean, all the viewers are enjoying the company, and we are enjoying the company of all our viewers. We feel like a family.
Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of people who say that Wali Wonders feel like we are all a family, and all of these people come and they try to talk and give their comments. And last time there was almost like 400 comments in a comment section. People were going crazy. These Indians came in and they were talking some bad things about Pakistan, and all the Pakistani followers came in and they just totally destroyed these Indians. It was such a nice stream. And please, guys, do comment as much as you can. Please like, share, and subscribe as well, because it's like a free way to help grow our channel. So, coming back to our topic, and we've been going on for like the past I don't know, almost 2 hours. So we'll try to end it. I'll also see if there's any new information coming up on the meeting. But what is the likely scenario? I guess the most realistic and immediate outcome is a temporary ceasefire, which freezes the front lines while negotiations continue. And that's what we're hoping for. That's what Trump might do. Any peace for land deal would face strong Ukrainian and European resistance. The sides may agree to exchange prisoners, return abducted children, and allow humanitarian access, but giving for Ukraine to give up its land, I guess they've already lost their land, but in their mind they still think that it's their land. It's going to be a very hard decision for Zelensky to make. And a comprehensive peace deal includes territorial settlements, security guarantees, and probably would require long multi-party negotiations and could hinge on Russia's willingness to accept Ukrainian sovereignty and on the West's readiness to enforce any agreement. So, I mean, what is the long-term peace and what's the short-term? Do you think they could go for like a ceasefire, just stop the war right now, no escalation, and call the military a few miles back from the front line and then start negotiating? Or will they negotiate first and then stop the war? How's this going to happen?
The thing is that at this very moment, Russia is like totally winning the war. I mean, Russia is not in a position where it has to like back foot or like show any weakness. And you know, this whole project of the New World Order that they're trying to make, because Russia and China with the BRI projects and with the SCO and with all their new banks and all that, they want to have you know, they want to change the hegemony of the dollar. They want a new you know, what do you call that, money exchange systems. They want a new economic order for the world. And they will not succeed in all those ambitions if they are not able to remove NATO influence and NATO presence from the region of Asia. So Putin will not go for a temporary ceasefire, because he knows that what happens to temporary ceasefires. He's going to go for proper demands. Just the way we said before that Ukraine will never enter EU, Ukraine will never become a member of NATO, and anti-Russian regime will have to be removed. Zelensky will have to be removed, and you know, maybe he will say that bring democratic elections, free and fair elections, and we'll see who becomes the new Ukrainian president. And if Trump agrees on all these things, I mean, Trump will have to put all his weight on the European countries, and he will have to put all his weight on Zelensky to back off and agree with all these harsh demands of Russia, because they have simply lost the war. If you lose the war, you can't dictate the you know, ceasefire clauses. If you're losing, then you have to agree to the other party. That's the meaning of winning or losing. Otherwise, Russia can go on with this war for another 5 years. Russia is full of artillery. It is full of ammunition and firepower and missiles and fighter jets and what not, and nuclear, you know, arsenal and everything they are making in bulk. So
Their factories, apparently, the Europeans and the Americans are really impressed by the Russian military-industrial complex because their factories are now running at full scale and they're producing all these drones and missiles, and a lot of equipment is being produced in Russia, and they're also using a lot of these equipment and these bombs and everything, and their resources are getting depleted, but they're making all of these weapons in such a great rate that they can continue on fighting this war. And plus their economy, they thought that they could kill Russia's economy, isolate them. And that is the thumbnail of our video. Isolation is obsolete. So they couldn't isolate Russia, and now Trump is making a deal with Russia, and Zelensky is on the sidelines. So with that, that's unfortunately all the time we have for today. And inshallah, we'll join you very soon in a live stream, maybe tomorrow. We'll let you guys know. And it was such a great time. Always, it's such a great time doing these live streams, talking to you guys, and for you guys to enjoy all these streams. It's such a pleasure for us. And with that, do you have like a final message, or do you just want to say goodbye to our audience?
Yes, I would like to again say that we gained our independence 1947, 14th August, and it's our Independence Day. आज़ादी को मनाते हैं हम. और बिल्कुल एक कमेंट में बड़ा अच्छा कमेंट एक बच्चे ने कहा था कि सिर्फ आज़ादी हासिल करना नहीं है बल्कि उसका बेहतरीन इस्तेमाल करना. और वो कैसे होगा कि अगर हम अपनी पोजीशन को इस दुनिया में समझें. जियो पॉलिटिक्स इसीलिए मुझे इतना इंटरेस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट लगता है बिकॉज़ इससे हमें आइडेंटिटी मिलती है कि हमारी पोजीशन क्या है, हमारी स्ट्रेटेजिक पोजीशन क्या है, हमारी इकोनॉमिक पोजीशन क्या है, हमारी दूसरी दुनिया के ममालिक के साथ क्या से ताल्लुकात हैं, कैसे होना चाहिए, कैसे आगे बढ़ना है. अगर हम इस ग्लोबल विलेज में ये सारा कुछ नहीं समझेंगे तो हम वो रास्ता ही नहीं बना सकेंगे जो तरक्की की तरफ जाता है, जो वेलफेयर की तरफ जाता है, जो हमारी आइडेंटिटी को सिक्योर करने की तरफ जाता है. बिकॉज़ इतनी मटीरियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड और ये इस वक्त चल रहा है, दौर चल रहा है, इसमें हम जैसे लोग पढ़े लिखे भी और आप जैसे इतने अच्छे अच्छे जो लोग हैं वो समझते हैं इस बात को कि वैल्यूज़ क्या हैं, क्या होनी चाहिए. सिर्फ एक मटेरियलिस्टिक किस्म की तरक्की जो है वो इनफ नहीं है. इंसानियत के लिए हमें वैल्यूज़ की तरक्की, वैल्यूज़ का बेहतर होना, मॉरल जो टेबल है उसको हमने हाई करना है अपने लिए, अपने वतन के लोगों के लिए, और एक बेहतरीन कौम बन कर के दुनिया की कौमों के साथ शाना बशाना हमने चलना है. और ऐसी कौम जो कि दूसरी कौमों को फ़ायदे पहुंचाए, ऐसी कौम नहीं जो दूसरों के साथ जंगे करके उनको तबाह करने और इंसानियत को कि किसी भी सेक्टर को तबाह करने के पीछे लगी हो. जैसे कि इज़राइल इस वक्त गज़ा के लोगों का जेनोसाइड कर रहा है, प्रॉपर जेनोसाइड. तो हम ऐसी कौम नहीं बनना चाहते, बल्कि हम चाहते हैं कि हम एक सेक्रीफाइस भी कर दें लेकिन हमारी वजह से किसी को नुकसान ना पहुंचे. इसीलिए हम अपने कश्मीरी भाइयों बहनों के साथ बिल्कुल पूरी तरह से खड़े होते हैं. क्यों? इसलिए ठीक है वहाँ हमारा पानी भी है, वहाँ से हमारा पानी आता है, वो भी हमारे लिए एक एग्जिस्टेंशियल थ्रेट है. लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात है कि इतना जुल्म क्यों है. एक मुसलमान हमारे बहन भाई हैं जो कि पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा थे और हर तरीके से पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा वो बन रहे थे और थे भी. तो उनके ऊपर ये ऑपरेशन और ऑक्यूपेशन क्यों हो रही है? 70 साल 78 साल अब हो गए. सो ये क्यों होगा? इसीलिए बहुत ज़रूरी है. ये ये कहना गलत है कि हम कश्मीर को पानी की वजह से हम उनके साथ खड़े नहीं. हम उन बीइंग ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन, एक इंसानी sector of humanity is standing with another sector of humanity because of the moral reasons, I think.
And that was a very brilliant point said by Anila. And with that, unfortunately, this is the end of our live stream. Thank you all for being here, for enjoying our live stream. And I now want to say Allah Hafiz and bye-bye. And see you guys soon. Are we still rolling? So guys, it's like we don't want to leave. It's all good.